Good day, guys. Today I will discuss to you the importance of studying economics. You see, economics is one of the most underrated fields of study here in the country. Though it's really important, especially in this time of the pandemic, still many students have no idea or has a different perspective when they hear the word economics. I remember when I did my first class in Pisay where I asked my students to describe or define economics. Most answers I got were related to stock market, money, businesses, and exchange rate. Well, those answers are correct, but those things are only a part or components. Economics is beyond more than what you can imagine. As an advocate of economic literacy, I feel the need to educate the youth, which is you guys, about the importance of economics, since the youth are the future leaders and the catalyst of change in our country. Now, to start my discussion, let's play a quick game, somewhat like a four picks, one word game. Now, there are four pictures on the screen. Kindly examine each picture and give one word that best describes them. Alright, what one word that best describes the four pictures above? I guess you're correct. It's choices. Now, we make choices every day in our lives. Choices ranging from what to buy, what to eat, choices that decide what we want to do in the future. So why do people make choices? Well, people have to choose because of the following reasons. Number one, limited resources. And second, unlimited wants and needs. These two reasons are what we call the basic economic problem. We are facing this problem because of scarcity. As what the picture showed earlier, we cannot get everything what we want due to scarcity. That's why we need to make a decision and choose the best alternative available. So how can we relate economics to our problem of choices? To answer that, first, let's define what is economics. Now, according to Case, Fair, and Oster 2012, economics is a study of how individuals and societies choose to use the scarce resources that nature and the previous generations have provided. Now, the keyword there is choose. Economics is a behavioral or social science. In a large measure, it is the study of how people make choices. The choices that people make, when you add it up, it translates into societal choices. Simply put, economics is a social science that focuses on the choices that people make. Now, why should we study economics? Is it really important? What's in it for me? Well, with our current situation now, due to the threat brought by COVID-19, economics has become more relevant more than ever. Though the pandemic is a health problem, however, it poses enormous economic challenges in our country. The strict lockdowns and quarantine restrictions implemented all over the country resulted to a negative economic impact. Many Filipinos now lost their jobs, businesses were closed, and face-to-face classes are not allowed. Now, understanding economics at this time, especially in this crisis, will enable us to think logically and critically to become better decision makers, especially in managing our scarce resources. Now, there are four main reasons why we need to study economics. First, to learn a way of thinking, to understand society, to understand global affairs, and to be an informed citizen. Now, as I stated earlier, the study of economics focuses on the choices people make. It teaches us a way of thinking and it helps us make decisions. Now, economics has various ideas and concepts. However, there are some fundamental ideas and concepts in economics that once you understand, can change the way you look at your daily choices. And these are opportunity cost, marginal analysis, and the concept of incentives. Now let's discuss them each. Opportunity cost. So opportunity cost is one of the most fundamental concepts in economics. The best alternative that we forgo or give up when we make a choice or a decision. So that is the definition of opportunity cost. So nearly all decisions involve trade-offs. So the full cost of making a specific choice includes what we give up by not making the alternative choice. So opportunity cost arises because resources are scarce. So what happens in an economy is actually the outcome of thousands of individual decisions. So people must decide how to divide their incomes among all other goods and services available in the marketplace, and they must decide whether to work, whether to go to school, and how much to save. Now, businesses must also decide what to produce, how much to produce, how much to charge, and where to locate. It is not surprising that economic analysis focuses on the process of decision making. Alright, there's no free lunch, or there's no such thing as free lunch. Now in economics, this means that everything comes with a price. So the price may not always be money, and if you get something for free, there's a cost that need to be paid somewhere in the wider economic system. Now to illustrate the concept better, so let's assume that you are starving and you are craving for something to eat. So you have three choices. It's either you make your own meal at home, dinner at your favorite restaurant, or a food delivery or a takeout. Now out of the three options, you have to make a choice based on the perception of what is best for you. So you have to forgo something in order to get something. Now the tools of economic reasoning help us understand what shapes people's perception of the alternatives they face. People's choices among considered alternatives reflects their perceptions of the cost and the benefit to them of the alternatives they faced. Now, a second key concept used in analyzing choices is the notion of marginalism, or marginal analysis. This is the process of analyzing the additional or incremental cost or benefits arising from a choice or a decision. So in weighing the costs and benefits of a decision, it is important to weigh only the costs and benefits that arises from that specific decision. So it's natural for people to compare cost and benefit, but often we look at the total cost and total benefits. So when the best choice requires comparing how costs and benefits change from one option to another. So in short, you might think of marginal analysis as a change analysis. So marginal analysis is used throughout economics. So we have two types of marginal analysis. We have the marginal cost. This is the difference or change in cost of a different choice. And we also have marginal benefit. That is the difference or change in the benefit you receive from a different choice. Now, marginal analysis helps people to make more informed decisions. Those who do not use marginal analysis are likely to reduce the benefits available from the choices made. Now, in the whole economy, a lack of marginal decisions making reduces income and growth. Now, in economics, incentives matter. This is a fundamental to economic behavior. So a famous example of incentive is the allegory that if you hold a carrot in front of a donkey, offering it as an incentive, it moves forward. And also, thwack its rump with a stick, it offers disincentive to stand still, then likely it will start walking around. Now, incentives are reward or a punishment that influences people's action. So when we make choices, we respond to incentives. And when incentives change, people's behavior changes in predictable ways. So incentives can be monetary or monetary. An example of an incentive is a tax incentive. This is the reduction in tax that the government makes in order to encourage spending on certain items or activities, and a great way to encourage economic development. Alright, another reason for studying economics is to understand society better. Now, past and present economic decisions have an enormous influence on the character of life in a society. Now, the current state of the physical environment, the level of material well-being, and the nature and number of jobs are all products of economic system. Hence, economics is an essential part of the study of the society. And knowing also about economics can help us understand society at many different levels and how it all connects. Now let's take this example using the circular flow model of a closed economy. where three economic actors, the household, the firms, and the governments, interact with each other. Now, the household here owns the factors of production, which is the land, the labor, and the capital, where they offer it to the firms for production of final output, and household also act as the consumers, while the firms, on the other hand, are the producers, where they turn the factors of production into final output for the household to consume. In return of acquiring the factors of production, the firms pay the household in the form of wages, rent, and interest. The government, on the other hand, collect taxes from both firms and household, taxes like corporate tax, ad valorem tax, income tax, and many more. So the government also acts as a consumer and uses factors of production from the household and the firms to operate. The third reason for studying economics is to understand global affairs. So if you have been following the news, headlines are filled with economic stories like political problem in Myanmar, the pandemic, of course, the vaccine rollout, and the visiting forces agreement payment. Now, in a relatively open, market-oriented world, it is impossible to understand political affairs without grounding in economics. While there is much debate about whether or not economic considerations dominate international relations, it is clear that they play a role as a political leaders seeking the economic well-being of its citizens. So an understanding of economics is essential to an understanding of global affairs. So if you see there on the image, this is normally the scenario in the international trade where two countries will exchange goods and services via import and exports. To be an informed citizen. Now, to be an informed citizen requires a basic understanding of economics. Knowing economics will help us understand what they talk about on the evening news. Now, a basic understanding of economics makes you a well-rounded thinker. So when you read articles about economic issues, you will understand and be able to evaluate the writer's argument. When you hear your classmates, maybe your coworkers, or maybe a political candidate talking about economics, you will be able to distinguish between common sense and nonsense. You'll find new ways of thinking about the current events and about personal and business decisions, as well as current events and politics. Understanding what happens in a recession and what the government can or cannot do to help in a recovery is essential part of being an informed citizen. For example, like why do governments pay for public schools and roads but not cell phones? Some governments control the prices that firms can charge for some goods, especially essentials like milk, bread, even medicine. Like you'll ask, is this really a good idea? Now, economics can help you with that. Now, in summary, learning about economics help you understand the major problems facing the world today. It prepares you to be a good citizen, and it helps you become a well-rounded thinker. Thank you and have a good day.